Ross Andersen from SafeZone. Absolutely. And so you said there was two aspects to this personal protective equipment. There's a shielding aspect.
The other aspect is wearing something that alters your body's ability to handle the radiation. And there are a number of devices available which actually do that. There are a lot of devices which are fraudulent. I test hundreds of these gadgets that you can buy and things you can stick on your phone. The vast majority of them do nothing, but there are some things that actually do improve the body's ability to withstand the radiation. And one of the most important things that I have run across was something that was given to me by a very wealthy client about 3 years ago now. And it contains the Lakovsky coil configuration. Do you know about that, Lloyd?
Say that again.
It contains the Lakovsky coil configuration.
Is that scalar?
I don't like that word just because there's a lot of fraud involved with scalar technology, and there is some real scalar technology, I believe. But George Lakovsky was a Russian physicist in the early 1900s who came up with a technology to use magnetic energy to help people combat certain disease processes. The Lakovsky coils were quite remarkable at the time, and you can still buy them. There are people that have reproduced them. He's long gone now. And I studied his work way back in the late 70s when I was first in practice, because it was fascinating. And in 1981, I actually got the fourth magnetic field therapy unit imported from Germany into North America. I was always kind of ahead of the curve, and so I still have that unit. Actually, it was German and cost. In 1981, it was $12,000, which back then was a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And so the Lakovsky configuration is available in many forms. The form that I recommend is something called a PolarAid. PolarAid, like Polaroid, but with an A instead of an O. And it's a device that you carry in a pocket. I have mine in my back pocket all the time. And it's something you buy once because doesn't run on a battery. It's actually an antenna that alters the ability of the body to withstand electromagnetic radiation. And don't ask me how, because I don't know that any of the explanations are accurate. I just know that it does work. I use some very interesting techniques to evaluate whether these things work or not. And I've tested the Lakovsky configuration on easily over 100 people, and it's worked on every single person.
Would that be muscle testing you do, a form of muscle testing?
Yeah, I've been doing muscle testing since the 1970s, and I've done muscle testing on over 1 million people. I teach muscle testing at a very high level. I've incorporated.
So this tests strong when they have this on them.
Yeah, the way I do it is quite unique. I actually have them hold their smartphone at their solar plexus, and then somebody phones it, and they answer the call, and they have it held at the solar plexus and transmitting, and that will weaken anybody to the point where they can barely hold their arm up. And then we introduce the device into their environment and retest them, and every single person tests incredibly strong when holding the Lakovsky device. It's really quite remarkable. So a lot of people now have put that configuration into things like pendants. My company will be producing clothing with the configuration in it as well. We've got a number of prototypes that we've already developed, and we want to see millions and millions of people using this technology because it's not a shield. It just simply improves the body's ability to withstand the radiation.
So what, can you share a resource where people can find this online?
PolarAidHealth.com. Once again, if somebody orders it, tell them that Dr. Ross Andersen sent you, because I don't get a commission, but I like to let them know who's sending the business. Yeah. The Canadian people are quite delightful. They're out of Montreal. And there are many other of these devices. If people Google it, they'll find them on a number of websites. The PolarAid one is extremely high quality. You could literally never break it. It's incredibly sturdy, and that's one of the reasons I like it. It costs a little more than some of the other ones, but it's extremely well built.
It's not, compared to some of them, Ross, it's not that expensive. I mean, it's $64. It's not completely inexpensive, but
no, exactly.
Compared to some of these things which cost thousands.
It's not going to break the bank. I mean, I test devices that are, $1,500, $1,800, $2,000 that don't work. And I'm not going to name any of them because, I don't want to upset anybody, but it really bothers me when people pay that kind of money for something that actually does nothing, or in some cases actually makes the situation worse. And that's really frustrating when I see that.
Yeah. So, that's a great resource. And just to know that you've actually tested this on so many people and found it to work is obviously makes it all the more valuable. So we're talking about this PPE, this personal protective equipment, and there's the home. There's the body first. So that's kind of what we've been talking about here: the shielding and this wearing a device like this PolarAid.